Yo, what is really good, my dudes? Welcome to another RuneScape news coverage video. For this video, we're going to be covering a tweet by Mod Orion regarding a new boss fight coming with his Aminishi update. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the video. Let's go! Alright guys, if you've been following my channel, there have been previous posts about an Aminishi update by Mod Orion. Also, the graphical update to Sirenic might tie in some form or fashion, but we now have even more information, and probably the most exciting I've covered on his teasers yet. So he says on Twitter, JMods were testing their metal and wits against some new upcoming challenges today. Having fun, Mod Shogun? And then he shows this image here of Mod Shogun clearly fighting some new boss encounter. You can see this is a brand new area we have never seen before. More likely that temple within Aminishi that I talked about in the previous video regarding Mod Orion content. But it does, yeah, look like that area. And you can see this new weird creature in the center of the fields that he happens to be fighting. I don't know, man. This is really exciting. This is actually aimed at around June-ish. So if that's the case, that means we're getting a whole new boss encounter directly after Solak, which is, I think, unprecedented. I don't think they've ever been back-to-back months of bosses. I know they've released multiple bosses in one update, for example, God Wars and God Wars 2, but I've never seen back-to-back bosses. Now, this could be like some kind of quest, and it's coupled with a new boss encounter with it, but I have some reasons to believe not. We're going to get actually into it because there are some more information that is very telling in the comments section related to this actual tweet. So we're going to actually have a look at those. So first up here, we got confirmation. You can see here, somebody says, a spirit dragon boss? Hell yes. Mod Orion quickly responds, no, it is not a spirit dragon, not this particular boss, and it is not Seryu. So that is actually pretty good information. We can tick that off of our possibilities. And then we have actually some banter with the J-Mods, which is actually pretty telling. We have Mod Shogun, Orion, and Iago all talking together about actually fighting this thing. Mod Shogun actually talks about how fun and challenging it is. Mod Orion says he's did well and he was consistent and he'll solo it no problem, especially considering Iago and Freshie kept dying anyways. So I'll pause real quickly because that does give some information. Apparently the J-Mods are dying when fighting this thing, meaning it's probably somewhat difficult. Now, I understand that J-Mods aren't nearly as good as some of our top PVMers, so some of those people might find it a complete breeze, but the fact that J-Mods keep dying while trying to fight this is telling. That lets us know that this is not like some pushover boss, that there is some level of difficulty that I'm sure some people are going to appreciate. Also, he says that he'll be able to solo it no problem. Mod Orion referring to Mod Shogun. That would lead us to believe that this is a group encounter that you can also solo if you choose to, which is extremely interesting. Because that might rule out the possibility that this is a quest boss, because if you can come back to it, as far as I can remember, there's no other boss in a quest that you can bring a group of friends to. So that's why I think that leads credence to the possibility that this is actually some regular boss encounter and not in fact a quest related boss. Going back to the back and forth J-Mod banter, Iago says, good job, we're not afraid of a challenge, unlike Shogun. He said it's pretty easy, the fight itself that is, when you're taking no damage by far tanking. So that leads me to believe multiple things. Either A, by far tanking, the boss cannot hurt you, because based on what we see in the image here, it does look much like Claudia, the beach boss. Not only in the appearance, because you can see the legs does look very Claudia-esque, but also the fact that it seems like it's stationary in that center of the room. So if you are far tanking, it looks like it might not be able to attack you, or it does have a ranged attack or magic attack that is far weaker than being in melee distance. Obviously that's, or he could simply be referring to the fact that he's doing defensives on a proper rotation and he's really not taking much damage at all. Either of those are something to take away when he says that tweet, so keep that in mind. Mod Shogun responds saying he was doing premium tactics while Iago was cheating, teleporting in after he kept dying and dying. And Mod Iago says that he can't help dying legitimately. He was getting bored of bad DPS, so he decided to cheat his way way back in. Now, what I'm taking away from this part is that Shogun says he's doing premium tactics, so there are mechanics that you have to work around. If you look at the image closely, you can see that he is doing melee, so I don't know what that means in terms of whether that's going to be the best DPS or the best strategy, or whatever the case may be, but he is doing melee, and he says he was dealing with certain tactics or mechanics that otherwise Iago wasn't. But the fact that Shogun said Iago was cheating does make me rethink the previous tweet where Mod Iago says he was taking no damage by far tanking. If he was using a JMod account that cannot die, that would make sense, but at the same time he says he was taking no damage by far tanking, as if far tanking was the reason why he was taking no damage. So I don't know how credible that theory is, that he was taking no damage because he's a JMod account using cheats, or simply because farcasting was the reason for some reason or another. We don't know yet, but farcasting in and of itself could be the reason why he's taking no damage, and not necessarily the fact that he was using cheat methods. I'll leave that one up to you guys to decide. Do you think it's because of one reason or the other? Let me know in the comments below. So yeah, just to bring it back around, they're not revealing anything more than what they just did for a couple weeks now. You can see here, not too far from release, it's coming out in summer. It's going to be a big update, and he does say that there are more details, like I said, in the coming weeks, so I definitely will cover that on the channel as those do come out, because this does seem like a really exciting update. I can't wait to see how it's going to unfold. Let me know what you guys think about it. It's actually really interesting. So I just want to quickly recap. What do we know about this boss and the update itself? Now, we got early leaks on that this is Aminishi related, specifically the spirit dragons in some way, shape, or form, leading us to believe that it's more than likely within the Aminishi area, or at least that temple that we cannot access yet. So I highly think whatever this boss fight is within that area. Not only that, we do have tweets earlier about the Sirenic graphical armor update, probably related to this in some way, shape, or form. However, it might not necessarily, but it is being worked on by these same JMods that are currently working on this, which is why I think they are in some form or fashion tied together. Not necessarily though, so keep that in mind. It's another one of those things where I am curious, what do you guys think? Do you think the graphical update for the armor is related to this at all or not? Let me know. Also, we can see from the image that Mod Shogun's using melee. Don't know if that means that's the best way. And please note that I don't know how good Mod Shogun is on the combat system. He could be making a really dumb mistake by using melee at this boss, or he could be really good at it and really understand it, and this might actually be a really good way to take on the new boss. But he's fighting this new boss that you can have multiple people in because multiple JMods were working together to kill this thing. Some people may argue that maybe it's part of just testing purposes, but if you're doing testing for something that is supposed to be a solo boss, doesn't really make quite sense to have multiple accounts fighting one boss that's meant for one person. That's just my personal take on it. Let me know what you think. So, looking at the boss itself, we can only see these little legs, but it is in the center of its area, and it does look much like Claudia, probably taking some of the actual looks of Claudia to save on dev time. I don't think canonically it's related to Claudia in any way, shape, or form, although we're gonna have to wait and see if that even holds any truth to it within the coming weeks or by summer. But I do think the appearance is simply because to cut on dev time and make it come out much sooner. Doesn't necessarily mean like the actual body and the rest of it is going to look Claudia-like, but the arms and the bottom and the fact that it is looking like it's stationary in the center of the map does lead me to believe that they are taking a lot from Claudia. Also, its crustacean-like appearance does lead to the validity of when Mod Orion on Twitter did say that this is not a spirit dragon itself, and it's definitely not Seiryu specifically. So, what tie-in could this boss crustacean-like creature have with the Aminishi area? Perhaps it's the case that this new information we have now brings more questions than it does answers. Any thoughts on that? Anyways, guys, that wraps it up for the video. Let me know what you guys think about this new reveal. Let me know what you think about the update as a whole. Are you excited for it? I am definitely excited. If we get back-to-back bosses month after month, that is really awesome, and I could not wait for that more as a player. Let me know what you think about it. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you are not subscribed yet and you want to stay up to date on all things RuneScape related, then hit that subscribe button. Anyways, I appreciate you watching. I am out. Peace.